Hi Susie and Carolyn. I am going to take a few minutes here to show you a few tricks on Excel. These things work exactly the same in Google Docs. So I'll just take you through a few things. You were having some problems creating formulas. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to multiply the 10 times the 5 to get the revenue. But I don't want to just go 10 times 5 each time. I want to make a formula. So the first step to making a formula is you put in the equal sign. Then you just go click the first cell. You want to be part of the equation. Then you do the times sign and you pick the other thing that you want to be part of the equation and you hit enter. Now what the system is really smart enough to do is you can copy this down now, and it's actually going to auto adjust how it calculates things. So you can see that it's not doing the same thing. It's not saying 50 anymore. The formula up here is B3 times C3. Down here it's B2 times C2. This one's down here is B3 times C3. So it was smart enough to know that you've gone down to the next line and you want to calculate on this line, so it incremented the rows. If I copied this formula over here, it would have and pushed it to the right. I'll do that. It'll probably come up with 0 or something. It will increment the numbers. So I'll go in there, and now it's well, I should say it increments the letters. So the C and the D have been changed from a B and a C. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Just remember that you go equals, plop the thing in the cell, do a times sign, C2, you're done. Click in this cell and hit enter, you're done. And if you copy this formula and copy it down, it's smart enough to readjust the numbers so it's calculating these two together, then these two together, then these two together. So it's pretty powerful. If you want to do a sum on a column, you could choose to go in and add them. Oops, I need an equals. Add them up. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 enters. But that's too much work. So what you're going to do is you're going to go delete. You go to formulas. You'll hit the auto sum, and you can do this. You can do averages, count numbers, min max. So there's a lot of functions you can put in there. But I'm just going to do auto sum, and you just put in the square of numbers you want it to add up. So there you go. And now it's 1500 again. If you wanted to alter that, it's also smart enough to add up the whole block of numbers. Now it's going to add up everything that's inside that block. And we got a bigger number. So I'll just go back to the way it was and add up the numbers that make sense here. Put an end of bracket on it. Done. So now what happens if you decide you want to put a GST in here? So I'm going to add a few rows here. And I'm going to put in GST colon. Then we'll make this cell. I'm going to make it let me just get this right. Number, percentage, decimal places, none. Okay. We'll put in 5%. Now we want to calculate this times 5% to figure out what the GST is. So you could go equals 50 times 5% equals, and that's right, it's $3. So what would happen if I copied this cell and put it down here? You can pause the tape at this point in time and scratch your head and try to figure out this. This is actually a quiz. I don't know what type of what type of a quiz this is, Susie, but you probably know the name for it. Anyways, if you copy it down, it's no longer going to be taking this 5% here. It's going to be looking in this cell here because it advances the rows as you copy the formula down. So it's going to probably be 0, and it is 0. So it's okay here. We're multiplying it by B1. But down here, you're multiplying it by B2. That's not what you want. So I'm going to teach you the concept of absolute addressing. If I go in here and I put a dollar sign in front of the B, and I put a dollar sign in front of the 1, the system will no longer sort of relatively change this thing. It'll just stay at B1 all the way down, so you're always pulling the 5%. There we go. And then the sum is the sum of these guys. Shift plus enter. Then we just copy it down, and voila, we're done. You're now experts on formulas and Excel spreadsheets and Google Docs spreadsheets.